Hello boys and girls, welcome to the Math Club. In this video, we're going to talk about perpendicular lines and how to find equations for perpendicular lines. Question 11. Find the equation of the line perpendicular to these equations and goes through the point 3 and 2. This is very important to understand. First thing, we understand that perpendicular lines have a gradient that when you multiply them by each other, you get -1. Or as we did before, we find the gradient by changing the sign and flipping the number. Now, let's take a look at this one here and try to answer it step by step, and then we're going to use these points, or this point, to find C, or the y-intercept. Now, let's do it step by step. First thing we do, we find the gradient of the line. Now, we said it's -2. This is the gradient of the line. Now, we need the gradient of a line perpendicular to it. So, what's the first step we do? Very good. We write y equals, yes, because it's negative, it's going to be positive. Good. And because it's 2 over 1, it's going to be 1 over 2. Good job. So 1 over 2x. And then plus c, in which we don't know. Now, we found the equation of the line that is perpendicular to this line. Now we need to find what's c, or what's the y-intercept. How do we find it? We find it by using the point here, in which we have x and y. So we're going to use the coordinates of the point. This is x, and this is y. Now, we're going to use the point in which x equals 3 and y equals 2. Now, what do? First thing we do, we fill the gaps. Y is 2 equals half of x, and we said x is what? Very good, x is 3. We put 3 here, and then plus c. And remember, we're trying to find c, so we can write the equation of the line. Now here, we write again 2 equals, what's half of 3? You can do this by the calculator, and it will give you 1.5. And then plus c. What's the next step? Very good. You want to get rid of that 1.5 and take it to the other side. So it's going to be minus 1.5. So we write 2 minus 1.5 equals c. And then 2 minus 1.5 equals 0.5. Very good. So c equals 0.5, or 1 over 2. And it's plus. So this is the y-intercept, it's 0.5. So here, when we write the equation again here, we're going to write, let me do it in another color, yes. Y equals 1 over 2x plus 1 over 2, or half. So we found c, and then we put it in the equation. This is the idea of answering a question like this. What did we do? First thing we did here, we wrote the equation of a line which is perpendicular to the line here. And how we did this, we found the gradient, in which we said if the gradient of the line is negative, so the gradient of the perpendicular line will be positive. And then because it's 2 over 1, we made it 1 over 2. And then we wrote x plus c. Now we're trying to find c using the coordinates of the point which is given in the question. X equals 3 and y equals 2. So we put y equals 2 here, and x, we put 3 instead of it. So we made the equation like this, and we're trying to find c here, remember. So half of 3 is 1.5. And then we took 1.5 to the other side, and we made it -1.5 here. and then c equals 0.5 or 1 over 2. And then we took c and put it in the equation of the line perpendicular to the line that we talked about. And this is how you answer a question like this. You can use the same idea in answering this, but this one is easier because he gave you the y-intercept. So let's answer it very fast. First thing, let's put a line like this so we don't mix things up. This is A, and this is B. Now, in this question, he said he wants a perpendicular line to this line, and he gave you the y-intercept, which is -4. So first thing we do, we find the gradient. Now, the gradient of this line is positive 1 over 5. So first thing, the gradient will be what? Very good. First step, we change the sign, so it's going to be negative. And then we flip these, so they're going to be 5 over 1, which is 5. So the gradient is -5. We're going to use it and put it in the equation. So y equals, yes, -5x. And we found -5 by changing the sign of the gradient, of this gradient, and then flipping the numbers, and it became -5. And now he gave us the y-intercept, which is -4. We just write it here, -4. And this is how you answer a question like this. So the first idea, we use the points or the coordinates of the points in the equation to find c. And then we wrote it in the equation. And then the second idea was easier, in which we wrote the gradient of the perpendicular line, and then we used the y-intercept to complete the equation. And this is how you answer a question like this. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.